Drawing multiple plots in MATLAB is very similar to making one. So let me show you by typing in plot and seeing what the possible completions are. So MATLAB provides me this list of different syntaxes that I could use with the plot command. And the one that we're going to use is this third one, plot x1, y1, x2, y2, and so on. So it's a different x1, y1, it's a different xy pair for each plot that I want to draw. So for example, let's say I want to plot y equals x squared and also y equals sine of x on the same axes. So I'm going to have x1, y1 for my x squared, and I'm going to have x2, y2 for my sine of x. So what's it going to look like? x1 equals linspace, and let's say I want to plot it between -5 and 5 with 50 sample points, and then I'm going to put a semicolon so that this length 50 vector doesn't get printed. Then y1, well, I want it to be x squared. Okay, this would not be right. What's wrong with it? I'm missing the dot before the caret symbol, the dot that tells it this is supposed to be element-wise exponentiation. So there's my x1, y1 pair. x2, y2, let's make it a little different. Let's say x2 is linspace. How about -3 to 3 with 100 sample points? And y2, I said I wanted this to be sine of x, so I do sine of x2. And now if I want to plot both of them, I do plot x1, y1, x2, y2. And there we can see it. Here's my sine of x, and here's my x squared. So there are also some options that I can do with these. Let me show you by going to help plot. And for now, what I care the most about is these 3 columns here. These are different options, and you should think of each column as a different option. The first column represents the color. Second column represents the marker that I use at each point. And the third column represents how the markers are connected. So just as an example, let's make my parabola. Let's make it with green x's and no connection. Okay, so that's going to be a g, an x, and then nothing here from the third column. And then how is it supposed to look? Okay, that gx and then nothing, that's supposed to go here in the third slot, which stands for this specification. So let me show you. I'm going to get the command we did before just by hitting the up arrow. And then between the y1 and the x2, I'm going to put in this string. So I said I wanted g, x, and then nothing. So g stands for green, x stands for the marker, and then I didn't put a third thing from the third column. And it's supposed to be a string, so I have to put it inside of single quotation marks. So let me evaluate it and see how it changes. So it looks pretty similar, but now there are these green x's. If I were to count how many there are, I would count that there were 50, because my x1 and y1 had 50 points in it. And then there's no connection between them. Okay, if I wanted to have a connection between them, okay, let's say I wanted to have a dotted connection between them. Okay, if I scrolled up, I see that dotted I make with this colon symbol. So now I evaluate it, and now there are these little dots between them. Maybe they're hard to see on the video, so let me make something a little bigger. Let's say I want a solid line between them. Okay, now hopefully that's a little bit easier to see. Or maybe it'll be easier to see if it's in black. So instead of green, let me make it black. Hopefully that's easier to see. There are these 50 x's, and they're connected with this thin black line. And I could do something similar for x2, y2. Let's say I wanted to have circles for the markers, okay, and no connection. Okay, now I have these 100 little circles here. If I wanted it to be fewer circles, well then let's change x2 to be linspace -3 to 3 with, how about just 10 circles? And then y2, let's make that sine of x2. And now let's plot it. Okay, now instead of having 100 blue circles, now there are just 10 blue circles. There are some other options or settings that can be nice, so let's just look at these for some hints of what there are. So for example, there's this title. Let me make the title 2 plots. And now it says 2 plots here at the top. Another option is this legend. So let me do that. And so legend, I'm supposed to have labels, and I'm supposed to have one label for each of my plots. So since I have 2 plots, I should have 2 labels. So first one, let's call it parabola. And second one, let's call it sine. Now let's go back and look at it. Now up here at the top, there's this little box, and it reminds me that the black x's, those stand for the parabola, and the blue circles, those stand for the sine graph.